a WikiVidi documentaries production. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Enjoy. Friends. Friends is an American television sitcom, created by David Crane and Marta Kauffman, which aired on NBC from September 22, 1994 to May 6, 2004, lasting 10 seasons, with an ensemble cast starring Jennifer Aniston, Courteney Cox, Lisa Kudrow, Matt LeBlanc, Matthew Perry, and David Schwimmer. The show revolves around 6 20-30-year-old friends living in Manhattan, New York City. The series was produced by Bright/Kaufman/Crane Productions, in association with Warner Brothers Television. The original executive producers were Kevin S. Bright, Marta Kauffman, and David Crane. Kauffman and Crane began developing Friends under the title Insomnia Cafe between November and December 1993. They presented the idea to Bright, and together they pitched a 7-page treatment of the show to NBC. After several script rewrites and changes, including a title change to 6 of 1, and Friends Like Us, the series was finally named Friends. Filming of the show took place at Warner Brothers Studios in Burbank, California. All 10 seasons of Friends ranked within the top 10 of the final television season ratings, ultimately reaching the number 1 spot in its 8th season. The series finale, aired on May 6, 2004, was watched by around 52.5 million American viewers, making it the 5th most watched series finale in television history, and the most watched television episode of the 2000s decade. Friends received acclaim throughout its run, becoming one of the most popular television shows of all time. The series was nominated for 62 Primetime Emmy Awards, winning the Outstanding Comedy Series Award in 2002 for its 8th season. The show ranked number 21 on TV Guide's 50 Greatest TV Shows of All Time, and number 7 on Empire Magazine's The 50 Greatest TV Shows of All Time. In 1997, the episode, the one with the prom video, was ranked 100 on TV Guide's 100 Greatest Episodes of All Time. In 2013, Friends ranked number 24 on the Writers Guild of America's 101 Best Written TV Series of All Time, and no. 28 on TV Guide's 60 Best TV Series of All Time. Premise: Rachel Green flees her wedding day and finds childhood friend Monica Geller, a New York City chef. They become roommates, and Rachel joins Monica's group of single people in their mid-20s, struggling actor Joey Tribbiani, business professional Chandler Bing, masseuse and musician Phoebe Buffay, and newly divorced paleontologist Ross Geller, Monica's older brother. Rachel becomes a waitress at fictitious Manhattan coffee house Central Perk. When not there, the group is usually at Monica and Rachel's nearby West Village apartment, or Joey and Chandler's across the hall. Episodes depict the friends' comedic and romantic adventures and career issues, such as Joey auditioning for roles or Rachel seeking jobs in the fashion industry. The 6 characters each have many dates and serious relationships, such as Monica with Richard Burke and Ross with Emily Waltham. Ross and Rachel's intermittent relationship is the most often recurring storyline. During the 10 seasons of the show they repeatedly date and break up. While Ross briefly marries Emily, he and Rachel have a child, Chandler. And Monica date and marry each other, and Phoebe marries Mike Hannigan. Other frequently recurring characters include Ross and Monica's parents, Jack and Judy, from Long Island, Ross' ex-wife, Carol, and their son, Ben, Central Perk barista Gunther, Chandler's ex-girlfriend Janice, and Phoebe's twin sister Ursula. Cast and characters. In their original contracts for the first season, cast members were paid $22,500 per episode. The cast members received different salaries in the second season, beginning from the $20,000 range to $40,000 per episode. Before their salary negotiations for the third season, the cast decided to enter collective negotiations, despite Warner Brothers' preference for individual deals. The actors were given the salary of the least paid cast member, meaning Aniston and Schwimmer had their salaries reduced. The stars were paid $75,000 per episode in Season 3, $85,000 in Season 4, $100,000 in Season 5, $125,000 in Season 6, $750,000 in Seasons 7 and 8, and $1 million in seasons 9 and 10, making Aniston, Cox, and Kudrow the highest-paid TV actresses of all time. The cast also received syndication royalties beginning in 2000 after renegotiations. At the time, that financial benefit of a piece of the show's lucrative back-end profits had only been given out to stars who had ownership rights in a show, like Jerry Seinfeld and Bill Cosby. Series creator David Crane wanted all 6 actors to be equally prominent, and the series was lauded as being the first true ensemble show. The cast members made efforts to keep the ensemble format and not allow one member to dominate. They entered themselves in the same acting categories for awards, opted for collective salary negotiations, and asked to appear together on magazine cover photos in the first season. The cast members also became best friends off-screen, so much so that recurring guest star Tom Selleck reported that he sometimes felt left out. The cast remained good friends after the series' run, most notably Cox and Aniston, with Aniston being godmother to Cox and David Arquette's daughter, Coco. In the official farewell commemorative book Friends Till the End, each separately acknowledged in interviews that the cast had become their family. Season 1. The first season introduces the 6 main characters: Rachel, Monica, Phoebe, Joey, Chandler, and Ross. Rachel arrives at Central Perk after running away from her wedding to her fiancé Barry, and moves into an apartment with her friend Monica from high school. Ross, who has had a crush on Rachel since the two of them were in high school, constantly attempts to tell her how he feels about her. However, many obstacles stand in his way, such as the fact that he is expecting a baby with his lesbian ex-wife, Carol. Joey is shown to be a bachelor and struggling actor, while Phoebe works as a masseuse and portrays a slightly crazy attribute to her personality based on her troubles as a child after her mother committed suicide. However, the rest of the group loves her regardless. Chandler breaks up with his girlfriend, Janice, who frequently returns in later seasons. Carol delivers a baby boy who is named Ben. At the end of the season, Chandler accidentally reveals that Ross loves Rachel, who realizes that she feels the same way. The season ends with Rachel waiting at the airport for Ross' arrival from a trip. Season 2. The second season begins with Rachel waiting at the gate for Ross to declare her love for him. However, she discovers that he is dating Julie, someone he knew from graduate school. Rachel's attempts to tell Ross she likes him mirror his failed attempts in the first season, although the characters eventually begin a relationship. Joey gets cast in a part in a fictional version of the soap opera, Days of Our Lives, but his character is killed off after conflicts with the show's writers, rooting from him claiming that he writes many of his own lines. Chandler gets back with Janice, his ex-girlfriend from season 1. Monica begins dating Richard, a recently divorced family friend and 21 years her senior, but they eventually break up. Season 3. Season 3 takes on a significantly greater serialized format. Rachel begins working at Bloomingdale's, an upscale department store chain, and Ross becomes jealous of her colleague, Mark. Rachel decides to take a break from their relationship, and Ross, hurt and drunk, sleeps with Chloe, the hot girl from the Xerox place, causing Rachel to break up with him. In the meantime, Chandler has a hard time dealing with their breakup, because it reminds him of his parents' divorce. After believing she has no family except her twin sister Ursula, Phoebe becomes acquainted with her half-brother and birth mother. Joey develops a relationship with his acting partner Kate, and Monica begins a relationship with millionaire Pete Becker, which ends because of the disagreements between the two. Season 4. In the fourth season premiere, Ross and Rachel briefly reconcile after Ross pretends to read a long letter that Rachel wrote for him, but continues to insist that the two were on a break, so they break up again. Joey dates Kathy, a girl that Chandler has a crush on. Kathy and Chandler later kiss, which causes drama between Chandler and Joey. Joey forgives Chandler only after he spends a day in a box as punishment. Phoebe becomes a surrogate mother for her brother and his wife Alice. Monica and Rachel are forced to switch apartments with Joey and Chandler after losing a bet during a quiz game, but manage to switch back by bribing them with Nick's season tickets and a 1-minute kiss between Rachel and Monica. Ross begins dating an English woman named Emily. and the season finale features their wedding in London. Chandler and Monica sleep together, and Rachel decides to attend Ross and Emily's wedding. While saying his vows, Ross uses the wrong name at the altar, to the shock of his bride and the guests. Season 5. Season 5 starts with Ross and Emily's wedding in London. The season features Monica and Chandler trying to keep their new relationship a secret from their friends. Phoebe gives birth to triplets in the show's 100th episode. She gives birth to a boy, Frank Jr., and two girls, Leslie and Chandler. Emily states that the only condition in which she would remain married to Ross is if he stops all communication with Rachel. Ross agrees, but during a last dinner with all 6 main characters together, Emily phones Ross and, upon discovering Rachel is there, realizes she does not trust him, which ends the marriage. Phoebe begins a relationship with a police officer, Gary, after finding his badge and using it as her own. Monica and Chandler go public with their relationship, to the surprise and happiness of their friends. They decide to get married on a trip to Las Vegas, but change their plans after witnessing Ross and Rachel drunkenly stumble out of the wedding chapel. Season 6. In the 6th season premiere, Ross and Rachel's marriage is established to be a drunken mistake. Ross and Rachel try to get an annulment, because he does not want to have 3 divorces. However, he realizes he could not do so and tries to keep their wedding a secret from Rachel. Nonetheless, they divorce several episodes later. Monica and Chandler move in together, causing Rachel to move in with Phoebe. Joey lands a role on a cable television series called Mac and Chess, where he stars alongside a robot. Ross gets a job lecturing at New York University and starts dating one of his students, Elizabeth. The relationship ends, because of their maturity differences. Phoebe and Rachel's apartment catches fire, and Rachel moves in with Joey, while Phoebe moves in with Chandler and Monica. Chandler proposes to Monica, who says yes even though her ex-boyfriend Richard confesses his love for her. Season 7. The 7th season mainly follows the various antics of Monica and Chandler, who begin to plan their wedding and run into financial problems which are quickly fixed by Chandler's secret funds. Joey's television series Mac and Chess is cancelled, but he is offered his job back on Days of Our Lives. Meanwhile, Ross tries to introduce Ben to Hanukkah with the help of an armadillo costume. Phoebe's apartment is fixed, but it is rebuilt with only 1 large bedroom instead of the original 2, so Rachel decides to stay with Joey. The season ends just prior to Monica and Chandler's wedding, with Phoebe and Rachel finding a positive pregnancy test in the bathroom at Monica and Chandler's apartment. Season 8. In the 8th season, it is revealed at Monica and Chandler's wedding reception that the positive pregnancy test found in the bathroom at Monica and Chandler's apartment belongs to Rachel. Rachel takes another pregnancy test, which Phoebe at first claims is negative, in order to find Rachel's real emotions on the realization of being pregnant. Rachel projects feelings of sadness when she thinks she's not pregnant, so Phoebe tells her the truth. The two of them and Monica then rejoice in the bathroom. The season revolves around Rachel's pregnancy. Ross is revealed to be the father after an investigation involving a red sweater. Rachel and Ross decide to have the baby, but do not resume their romantic relationship. Joey develops romantic feelings for Rachel, but she does not reciprocate them. Rachel gives birth to baby Emma in the season finale. At the hospital, Ross' mother offers him an engagement ring, because she wants him to marry Rachel. Ross does not intend to ask Rachel to marry him, but he takes the ring anyway and puts it in his jacket pocket. Meanwhile, in the post-delivery room, Joey looks for some tissue for an upset Rachel, picks up Ross' jacket, and the ring falls to the floor. He kneels to pick it up and turns to Rachel, still on his knees and still holding the ring. Rachel accepts what she thinks is his proposal of marriage. Season 9. Season 9 begins with Ross and Rachel living together as roommates with their daughter Emma. Monica and Chandler try to conceive a baby of their own, but find out that they are unable to, due to health restrictions. Phoebe begins dating Mike Hannigan and chooses to be with him over her ex-boyfriend David. Rachel and Emma move in with Joey in the middle of the season, and Rachel develops infatuation towards him. while the rest of the friends try hard to get Ross and Rachel back together. The group travels to Barbados in the finale to hear Ross give a keynote speech at a paleontology conference, where they stay at a hotel. Joey and his girlfriend Charlie break up, and she begins a relationship with Ross. Upon seeing Ross and Charlie kiss each other, Joey goes to Rachel's hotel room, and the finale ends with them kissing. Season 10. The 10th season closes several long-running storylines. Charlie breaks up with Ross to get back together with her ex-boyfriend. Joey and Rachel try to contend with Ross' feelings about them being together, and decide it would be best to remain friends. Phoebe and Mike get married mid-season outside the Central Perk coffee house. Monica and Chandler apply to adopt a child and are chosen by Erica. In the series finale, Erica gives birth to twins, to the surprise of Monica and Chandler, a boy and a girl. Monica and Chandler prepare to move to the suburbs, and Joey becomes upset with the changes in his life. Rachel gets fired from her job and accepts a new offer in Paris. Ross tries to get her job back by secretly meeting her boss, but eventually gives up after realizing that the Paris job is her dream job. Rachel says a tearful goodbye to everyone but Ross. A hurt and angry Ross confronts Rachel, and they end up sleeping together. Rachel leaves, and Ross, realizing he loves her, chases after her to the airport. Rachel realizes she loves him too, and cancels her flight to Paris, agreeing to stay with him. The series ends with all friends plus Monica and Chandler's new babies leaving the apartment, heading to Central Perk for a final cup of coffee. The finale dialogue used in this series is by Chandler, making a joke for the last time. The camera's last view is of all of the characters' keys to the apartment on a counter table, finishing with a shot of the apartment's purple door. Conception. David Crane and Marta Kauffman began developing 3 new television pilots that would premiere in 1994 after their sitcom Family album was cancelled by CBS in 1993. Kauffman and Crane decided to pitch the series about 6 people in their 20s making their way in Manhattan to NBC since they thought it would fit best there. Crane and Kauffman presented the idea to their production partner Kevin Bright, who had served as executive producer on their HBO series Dream On. The idea for the series was conceived when Crane and Kauffman began thinking about the time when they had finished college and started living by themselves in New York. Kauffman believed they were looking at a time when the future was more of a question mark. They found the concept to be interesting, as they believed everybody knows that feeling, and because it was also how they felt about their own lives at the time. The team titled the series Insomnia Cafe and pitched the idea as a 7-page treatment to NBC in December 1993. At the same time, Warren Littlefield, the then president of NBC Entertainment, was seeking a comedy involving young people living together and sharing expenses. Littlefield wanted the group to share memorable periods of their lives with friends who had become new, surrogate family members. However, Littlefield found difficulty in bringing the concept to life and found the scripts developed by NBC to be terrible. When Kauffman, Crane and Bright pitched Insomnia Cafe, Littlefield was impressed that they knew who their characters were. NBC bought the idea as a put pilot, meaning they risked financial penalties if the pilot was not filmed. Kauffman and Crane took 3 days to write the pilot script for a show they titled Friends Like Us. Littlefield wanted the series to represent Generation X and explore a new kind of tribal bonding, but the rest disagreed. Crane argued that it was not a series for one generation, and wanted to produce a series that everyone would enjoy watching. NBC liked the script and ordered the series. They changed the title to 6 of 1, mainly because they felt Friends Like Us was too similar to the ABC sitcom These Friends of Mine. Brought to you by WikiVidi Documentaries. Would you like to know more?